Hello and welcome to my Halloween edition of my Big Finish reviews. Now, you may be wondering, where's my review of Davros? The review of Davros, there is a problem with that at the moment. That is because I haven't listened to Davros yet, so I thought, why not review a creepy story? And it's Halloween today, the day I'm filming this, and The Chimes of Midnight is meant to be a creepy story, and it has a big reputation because it's meant to be the best Paul McGann story and the best story from the monthly range. And in this review I'll be discussing whether it does have the right to have that title, or I just think it's overhyped. So yeah, let's look at the cover of this story. So we cover at the top, we have starring Paul McGann in Doctor Who, The Chimes of Midnight, with India Fisher as Charlie. Then we have the house, then we have a clock about to strike midnight. Then we have Paul McGann and Charlie there and some light coming from the window. So that's basically the cover. Then on the spine, Doctor Who, The Chimes of Midnight. Camera's going to go out of focus. Come on camera. Yes, that did. Number 29 from the monthly range. Then we have what the story is about, so do feel free to pause it and know what the story is about. Total running time is 100 minutes. So that's basically the cover and all that jazzy stuff. Now let's look at the booklet. Okay, so here is the booklet, so if I open it up, we have a bit of information about the story, about the production side of the story and some of the cast members there, having their photo taken. Then we have the radio times listings, so like if it was an actual TV episode it would have radio times listings, and this is in the same sort of style as those. Then we have other Big Finish audios available and advertisement for Doctor Who books and Doctor Who magazine. On the back we have some writer's notes, because it is written by the legend what is Rob Sherman, who wrote Jubilee, Dalek and some of the best Big Finish stories, people say. Then we have what episodes are on the discs, it's a full-party. Then we have a picture of the 8th Doctor there. So that's the book. And now let's look at the disc. So the disc design is basically a clock face. You can't really see it that well because of the way the disc is and it's reflecting. Both discs are exactly the same, and we have a picture of the clock striking midnight and a house there, and it's upside down for some weird reason. Yeah, that's odd. So that's basically the disc and the booklet. Now let's go on to my thoughts on The Chimes of Midnight. Okay, what do I think of The Chimes of Midnight? The Chimes of Midnight, to me, has a huge reputation, and I personally do find it overrated, because if you've watched most of my Big Finish reviews and you've seen some of my Q&A videos, you'll know that my favourite Big Finish thing is Dark Eyes, which is a Paul McGann trilogy, and I just think it's perfection, really. So this, of course, does have a big reputation, and it doesn't quite deliver, but still it is a fantastic story to have in your collection, and it is out of print, so it is worth checking out. So let's actually go in depth to this story. The story itself really does benefit being in the audio format, with some parts being left to your imagination. The use of sound is really effective, such as the ticking of the grandfather clock in the background, what really does add tension in some parts and really does make your heart pump. The concept is fantastic, with people dying on the hour. The setting works brilliantly, with it of course being set in one place, having this sort of claustrophobic element, and it is similar to Ghostlight, but this time the Doctor can't escape because it's in this weird pocket thing, which I'm not going to say any more about that. So, what horror elements does The Chimes of Midnight have? Horror elements this story has is gruesome deaths, with characters being killed off with items relating to their job. All I will say is plum pudding. If you listen to the story, you'll know what I mean. So the story does use basic horror elements such as screams, as you would expect in any Doctor Who story, I suppose, especially with Deborah Watling in, but this doesn't have Deborah Watling in. It has possession and spirits. The story could also be classed as a murder mystery story. So, to conclude, the story builds up nicely with mysteries being solved. All the characters have really good development in the 4 parts. The story really does have a good narrative for the companion, Charlie, in this. It is a really good story for Charlie because it delves into her past and more mysteries about her, what were sort of revealed in Storm Warning, which we're still yet to be solved. Obviously in this time, if we go back to when this audio was first released, we still didn't know much about Charlie. The performances are fantastic, they are brilliant by everyone. Paul McGann is brilliant. Now the villain itself is rather odd, because most villains are shouting going, "Oh, this is my plan, it's going to be brilliant, you can't stop me now, Doctor." But this villain has the courtesy to say, "Take a seat, Doctor, let's have a cup of tea and talk about my plan," because it's so brilliant. The cliffhangers are brilliant. Part 3's cliffhanger, what leads into part 4, is probably the greatest cliffhanger I've sort of listened to from Big Finish, and I just find it a great cliffhanger in general. It's really one of those ones that will go, whoa. So, overall, I think this is a really good little treat for you little horror fans of Who. It is a great little treat. It is out of print, so if you can get your hand on it, do get it, because it is one of the sort of essential Big Finish audios in most people's eyes. Even though I do say it's overrated, it is still a fantastic audio to have in your collection. And as I said before, it's an eerie treat. It's got a good narrative for the companion. Each character has something to do, and each characters do add to the story. The villain, I do have to say, was revealed too late, because we could have had more of the sinisterness of the villain, but him being revealed later on, of course, it builds suspense, so I can see why they did it, but I would have liked to have seen more of this villain, because he is powerful. This villain is very powerful, on the same levels as Sutek, I suppose. So yeah, this has been my review of the Chimes of Midnight, this sort of Halloween special. My next review will be of a figure, which is the Asylum Dalek, or as I like to call him, Rusty. There he is, looking lovely. So yeah, thank you very much for watching my review of the Chimes of Midnight. I'll see you in my review of the Asylum Dalek.